You know that feeling, right? Someone's telling you about something, maybe something really interesting, and you just want the main points.
Yeah, like get to the good stuff, the core idea.
Exactly. Skip the wading through details. That's what we do here on the deep dive. We take information, dive in, and pull out the really surprising bits, the useful knowledge.
Think of it like we're extracting the intellectual vitamins for you. We process it all and hand you the concentrated good stuff.
So today, we're digging into something maybe a little unexpected. It's a YouTube video, actually, called Band 9.0 IELTS Practice Speaking Exam from IELTS Advantage.
Right, and you might think, okay, a language exam, how interesting is that?
Uh-huh. But it's not really about the test itself, not for us anyway. It's a real conversation. You get this glimpse into how someone actually talks about everyday things.
It is. The framework is a test, sure, but the content, that's just genuine human interaction. It's a window into someone's views, their preferences, stuff that, well, affects all of us.
Yeah, and our goal isn't to grade her English or anything. The examiner said it was perfect, by the way.
Right, not the point for us.
No, we want to see what insights we can pull out about, life, communication, just from listening to this exchange.
Let's do it.
Okay, first topic up was art and photography. She said traditional art, like paintings, didn't really do it for her.
But she did like cinema and music?
Which makes you think, doesn't it?
Oh.
What counts as art, anyway? Why do some things click with us and others don't?
That's a great question. Is it like how we're raised, what we're told is important art?
Maybe.
Or is it just a gut feeling, an emotional thing? I mean, films, music, they often hit you directly, right? With a story or a sound. Maybe paintings feel a bit different for some people?
Could be. It just shows how differently we all connect with creative stuff.
Yeah.
And then the photography bit, she liked taking photos of other things, not so much selfies.
Ah, interesting. So looking outward rather than inward, in a way.
Yeah, like wanting to capture the world around her.
Could be about memory, wanting to hold on to experiences. Or maybe just fascinated by, I don't know, the beauty or weirdness of things out there.
Could also be about identity, maybe. Some people express themselves more through what they notice rather than showing their own face all the time.
That's a good point.
Mm.
Okay, so next was animals.
Right. She liked land animals, the friendly ones, she said. But definitely not insects or sea creatures.
Huh, yeah. That's pretty common, that selective affinity. It reminds you our connection with animals isn't like universal. It's filtered, through comfort, maybe fear.
Yeah, perceptions.
Definitely. Maybe there's an evolutionary thing. We connect more easily with mammals, perhaps.
Could be. Whereas insects, sea creatures, they feel more other.
Or maybe it's just what we're used to or what stories we've heard. Personal experience plays a huge role too, I bet.
And our favorites. Dogs for pets, but jaguars for wild animals. It's quite a contrast.
It really is. One is all about companionship, home, The other is wildness, power, something you admire from afar.
So different ways of relating to animals.
Totally. You have the ones you bring into your life, care for, get affection from, and then the ones that just capture your imagination because they're untamed. The jaguar could be about strength, maybe beauty.
A connection to something outside the everyday.
Exactly. Oh, and she mentioned her dogs were rescues.
Yeah, that felt significant too.
Mm,
Shows a certain value, choosing to adopt.
definitely. Okay, what was next? Bags.
Bags, yes. She liked big purses, apparently, to carry everything. She joked about how heavy they get.
Right. That sounds very practical, like being ready for anything.
You have like a portable command center.
Yeah, maybe it gives a sense of control, having everything you might need right there. Could also be societal expectations too, maybe. Especially for women, sometimes there's this idea you need to carry certain things.
True. It's funny how these everyday items get so wrapped up in our routines. Or sense of security, even.
Yeah. And she said women, or, well, she carries one every day, which feels very common.
Oh, totally. It's almost like a default setting for many people, even for quick trips.
It becomes a habit, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Or maybe, like you said, a subtle social thing. Plus, bags can be about style too, right? Status symbols, sometimes.
For sure. And she pointed out how the type of bag changes, depending on the outfit or if it's for work or going out or travel.
Shows how adaptable they are. Different tools for different jobs, essentially.
Yeah.
Bags fit into our different roles, different settings.
Okay, shifting gears. Birthdays. This was sweet. Her childhood memory of birthdays being the only day she could wear her own clothes to school.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that really highlights how much those little freedoms mean, especially when you're a kid.
Right. In a world full of rules like a school uniform, that one day of difference becomes huge. It's not just clothes, it's individuality, being seen differently.
Context totally shapes how we see special, doesn't it?
And the traditions she mentioned, special outfit, bringing treats for the class.
That's a lovely snapshot of childhood celebration, that communal aspect.
Sharing the treats, interrupting class for a bit. It builds shared memories, strengthens those little social bonds.
Yeah, sharing the joy. Then she talked about birthdays now, as an adult.
Much more low-key. Dinners with friends, maybe games or a movie at home.
That evolution feels pretty common. Why do you think that shift happens? From big childhood parties to quieter adult things.
Well, maybe priorities change as you get older. Maybe it's less about the big bash and more about, I don't know, deeper connections, quality time.
Yeah, that makes sense. The energy for huge parties might fade a bit.
Yeah.
And maybe how we define celebration changes too. More personal, less about the outward show.
And her point about handwritten birthday cards, because she's sentimental and values the effort.
Oh, I like that. In our super digital world, right? Something tangible, something someone actually took time to write.
It carries more weight somehow.
I think so. It feels more deliberate, more meaningful than just a quick text. Shows you care on a different level.
Okay, so let's talk about meeting friends. The story of her first school friend, Amanpreet K.
That was charming. Meeting on the first day of kindergarten. And the reason? Her long braided hair and fluffy marshmallow-like face.
Huh. It's so simple, isn't it? How those first connections happen. Very visual, very immediate.
Yeah, there's a certain innocence there. No complex criteria, just liking someone's hair.
And the bit about putting her thumb out to ask for friendship and getting rejected at first.
Oh, the heartbreak. A little dose of childhood drama.
But it shows that vulnerability, even really young, offering friendship, risking rejection, it's a big deal.
And important learning moments, probably. Navigating those social ups and downs.
But they did become best friends eventually. And she mentioned Amanpreet was from Punjab and her mom made paratha while her own mom made sivra.
Ah, the food connection. That's wonderful. It introduces culture, heritage.
And sharing food is such a powerful way to share part of yourself, isn't it? And learn about someone else's background.
Absolutely. It's sensory, it's tangible, builds understanding.
Then the conversation moved to friendships at school more generally, her emphasis on quality over quantity.
Yes, that felt like a really key point, especially thinking about kids now. It's not about having the most friends.
Right. It's about building real, trusting relationships, that sense of belonging.
Social science backs that up too. Strong, close friendships are so important for well-being, for learning social skills. Depth matters more than numbers.
She also touched on parents choosing kids' friends. That was interesting.
Yeah, tricky one. She acknowledged sometimes parents might need to step in, you know, bad company concerns, kids being naive.
But also the importance of letting kids learn from their own experiences, even the negative ones.
Exactly. It's a balancing act for parents. Protect, yes, but don't overshield so much that they can't learn to navigate tricky situations or build resilience. Making mistakes in friendships is part of growing up.
Then the topic shifted to making friends online.
And she brought up the downsides. How people curate their profiles maybe aren't totally honest. She mentioned the Tinder swindler.
Whoa, yeah, that's a pretty stark example of online deception, isn't it?
It really is. It highlights that risk. You don't always know who you're really talking to, what their intentions are. There can be a big gap between the online persona and reality.
So you need to be cautious. Critical thinking is key.
Definitely. Online connections can be great for finding people with shared interests, no doubt. But you lack those face-to-face cues, that built-in trust you get over time in person. So, yeah, requires a bit more vigilance.
And finally, making friends as adults. She felt it gets harder.
Oh, that resonated. I think a lot of people feel that way.
Why, though? She suggested, like, routines get set, social circles kind of shrink to work, family.
Yeah, fewer opportunities for just bumping into new people, maybe. Life gets more structured, and maybe we're just more filtered, more guarded.
Could be. We had experiences, good and bad, makes us more selective, perhaps.
And her point about the depth of old friendships, the shared history, that's hard to replicate quickly with someone new you meet as an adult.
Yeah, all those years of shared memories, inside jokes, seeing each other through stuff.
It creates this really strong foundation, that comfort, that trust. It takes time. It's a different kind of bond.
But she did say it's still possible, right, to make great friends later in life.
Yes, definitely. Possible, but maybe just Harder to come by, as she put it.
A realistic take, not impossible, but maybe requires more conscious effort.
Yeah, you might have to be more proactive, seek out opportunities, join groups, clubs, based on interests.
So, quite a journey from just one conversation, huh? Art, animals, bags, birthdays, all the way to friendships across a lifetime.
It's amazing, isn't it, how much you can unpack from just listening to someone talk about their experiences, even in a slightly unusual context, like that practice exam.
It really shows how these everyday topics connect to bigger themes about being human.
Definitely.
And it leaves you thinking, about your own life. What counts as art for you? How do you feel about animals or even your bag choices? And friendships, quality versus quantity. How has making friends changed for you over the years?
Hmm. Lots to chew on there.
Yeah.
It's a good reminder that there's depth even in the seemingly simple things.